And as we've been mentioning, there's a bit of a cloud over the first day of school today. The threat of a teacher strike is looming large after talks between the province and the union broke down. There was a vote to lock teachers out if it comes to that on Friday. A bit of a war of words towards the end of last week as well. Joining us for more on this and what to expect is Professor of Human Resources and Labor Relations at Athabasca University, Jason Foster. Jason, thanks so much for being here, because this is a lot for parents especially to try to sort out as this continues. So Friday, we had the education minister accusing teachers of playing politics, and the ATA could have issued strike notice and we wouldn't have class today, but that didn't happen. What's your take on teachers not doing that?
Well, I think what that tells me is that the teachers union thinks they're close enough. They want to keep trying. Okay. That's what I kind of read that as. And the government rhetoric on Friday, that also is expected. You sometimes expect as you get closer, people get heated, it gets more, the rhetoric kind of ramps up. And I also think it was an attempt on the government's part to try and start to sway public opinion more towards the government's favor. So
we had the government coming out with their fiscal announcements at the end of last week, talking about how tight money is, and then on Friday they say that they don't have enough money for the wages that teachers are asking for. What's your take there?
Well, we've seen this before. And I think we also have to remember that the government just in the last budget implemented a gigantic tax cut. So, I mean, they're making some choices. That means whether they have money or don't have money. I think what most Albertans just want to know is that their education system is working.
Right.
That's what matters to them. And so I think that's what that's what kind of the unstated part of this dynamic that we've seen over the last few days is about tussling over how much money do we put into our education system.
Okay, so bottom line for parents who are heading back to school, taking their kids there today, but don't know what's going to happen next, do you think we're going to have job action, a strike, and a lockout?
Well, I think the lockout has become a lot closer, given that the Teachers Employers Bargaining Association has voted in favor of launching that lockout. It doesn't mean they have to do it today. It doesn't mean they have to do it tomorrow. But that does leave me a little more pessimistic that the two parties are actually going to find a settlement. And so I think, unfortunately, parents are going to have to kind of hang around on tenterhooks for a couple more days.
Do you have any insight on how this might unfold? Will parents be given a week's notice, 3 days notice, the 72 hours? Like, how much notice will people get?
It'll be 72 hours. That's the legal minimum, and that's usually what parties do. And so at some point, if one of the parties decides to pull the plug, because the teachers are also in a position where they could issue that notice anytime they wished. And so, it's 3 days notice, and then we'll have to see what happens there.
Okay, and do you expect if we get to that point, this may last a long time?
No, this strike will not be prolonged for a number of reasons. One is I actually think the parties are relatively close. So as you ramp up the pressure, as you get closer to a strike, both parties get increased willingness and ability to be able to find that deal. So I actually still think a deal is possible. Okay. If a strike happens, it will be relatively short, either because they'll find a deal or the government will use one of the tools that it has at its disposal to try and bring that dispute to an end.
What advice would you have for parents who are watching this right now?
Take it day by day and keep your eye on the news.
Okay, that's all we can do at this point. We certainly appreciate your insight. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll have the latest on this contract negotiation as it continues. As we've just heard, it will continue to evolve, but you can find the latest right here on CTV. It's time for us to take a break. We'll be right back.